Okay, so I just finished my reading for today, and this is, I think, one of my favorite parts of the book so far. So I've read the first 30 pages of book 7. Um, so uh, of Herodotus, and yeah, it kind of just goes over the transition of power from Darius to Xerxes, and Xerxes' preparations to attack Hellas. But there was one moment in particular that I really liked. Actually, two moments. So I kind of just want to talk about those real quick. This is not going to stay here, is it? Okay. Where am I? Here. Okay, so all right, we're at book 7, chapter 45, and yeah, I'm just gonna read through it real quick. As he looked out over the whole Hellespont, whose water was completely hidden by all his ships, and at all the shores in the plains of Abydos, now so full of people, Xerxes congratulated himself for being so blessed. But then he suddenly burst into tears and wept. Now his uncle Artabanos, the one who had at first freely expressed his opinion as he attempted to dissuade Xerxes from marching against Hellas. That is the other moment that I liked, which I'll get to that after. But he noticed that Xerxes was weeping and said to him, "Sire, what a great divergence there is between your behavior now and that of just a moment ago. Then you deemed yourself a blessed man, but now you are weeping." And Xerxes replied, "That is because I was suddenly overcome by pity as I considered the brevity of human life, since not one of all these people here will be alive 100 years from now." Artabanos responded, "But even more pitiable than that are the experiences we suffer as we pass through life, for even in such a short span of life, no human being is born so fortunate, neither these men nor any others, that the wish to be dead rather than alive will not occur to him, and not just once, but often. For the misfortunes that befall us and the illnesses that harass us make even a short life seem long. And so because life is a hardship, death proves to be a human being's most welcome escape, and the God who gives us merely a taste of sweetness in life is revealed to be a jealous deity." I mean, Jesus. That whole encounter, when I imagine that, right, Xerxes he's in some elevated surface, kind of looking out over his army in Abydos before they cross the Hellespont. And that just seems like quite a scene to have such a I can't think. Suddenly every word is gone. It just seems like quite the scene, or that's exactly the kind of scene you would expect to create such an existential thought in someone's mind. And this whole passage, I think, is just great. And yeah, kind of wonder, like, does he actually care about all of these people? Because a lot of them are just his slaves, really. I mean, maybe as a whole, he thinks of them as his army, and it's easier to appreciate that, but I mean, all of these people are here because he conquered them, right? But regardless, it is a pretty vulnerable moment, and it is interesting to think about how, like, we are very similar to, like, flakes of skin, in that we eventually will all just be replaced by more people, and we will cease to exist, even though right now, in the present moment, the humanity seems vast, and it seems like everything that we know seems like everything that can be. Yet we do know that in just a century from now, none of us will still be here, and everything will change. So it does. I mean, this is like the first real philosophical moment, I think, in this book for me. There may have been others, but this is like, I guess this is just right up my alley. But they don't linger too long here. Anyway, his uncle, Artabanos, I also like him a lot, because earlier, when Xerxes was still deciding whether or not he wanted to march against Hellas, Artabanos was the only one who urged him not to. And he said something here too that I liked a lot. Yeah. He says, there's a bunch of great quotes, but he says, hasty action is the father of failure, and failure in turn begets severe penalties. But much good comes from restraint, and even if one may not think so at the moment, he will discover in time that it is so. Before that, he says, like, the gods will not tolerate pride in anyone but themselves. He just has some very real wisdom that Xerxes kind of ignores. Although Xerxes does reply with a pretty good passage himself, where he talks about the necessity of taking risk, and how everything that Persia has become would not have been built had the previous kings not risked Persia to increase its wealth and and size. So I thought that was good too. Anyway, that's it. I just liked those quotes, and I just wanted to log that somewhere, so that's it.